One of the things I loved as a kid was a museum. I mean, history museum, science museum, art museum. I loved any museum. The exhibits, they just really captivated me. I mean, I was a bit nerdy and geeky as a kid. But the thing I even loved more than the museum was the gift shop because of all the amazing souvenirs that they had in these gift shops. I remember one time I got this cool souvenir. It was a bust of Abraham Lincoln. And the coolest thing about it was that they made it right there in the gift shop. Right? There was a machine. You put your coins into the machine, and the machine worked, and it produced this bust of Abraham Lincoln. You could watch all the parts of the machine, the metal plates coming down, the mold filling up, the hoses with the liquid plastic flowing into it and filling the mold. It was just amazing to watch that. Now you're probably asking yourself, what does a souvenir in a museum have anything to do with meditation? Well, that's the subject of this week's Weekly Wisdom Bite. So, Weekly Wisdom Bites are bite-sized meditation pointers that are specifically designed to uplevel your meditation practice so that you regularly experience profound and powerful meditations. So, what does a souvenir at a museum have anything to do with meditation? Well, just like me and that, when I was younger at the museum, someone who was really enchanted and captivated by all the souvenirs in the museum, right? In meditation, we tend to be captivated with what I like to refer to as mental souvenirs. Now, what's a mental souvenir? Well, that's really those kind of thoughts that show up in the mind that we consider particularly special or insightful. It could be a creative idea for a project that we're working on. It could be an insight into, our own psychology, our own behavior patterns, right? It could be some bit of wisdom even about how to operate in our meditation space. Mental souvenirs are not really what we're after in meditation. When it comes to meditation, we're learning how to not pay attention to the mental souvenirs, or rather not give the mental souvenirs any interest or engagement. Right? It would be like me as a kid walking through the gift shop and maybe noticing the different souvenirs here and there, but essentially walking through and leaving the gift shop without feeling like I need to go investigate these particular souvenirs any more deeply. And so what we want to do in meditation, right, is we want to, when the mental souvenirs arise, we want to note them, but then we want to come back to whatever the object of focus is that we're working with. If we're working with the breath, then we want to come back to the tactile physical sensation of the breath as it moves in and out of the body. If we're working with other bodily sensations, then we want to do the same thing with those particular sensations. So, if you're someone that struggles with all the mental content that shows up in the mind and with, feeling like you need to come back from your meditation practice with mental souvenirs, or it's not somehow valuable or meaningful, then I invite you to adopt this particular relationship of non-engagement with any thought content that shows up in your mind. So that's this week's Weekly Wisdom Bite. Go ahead and let me know how that works out for you. Drop some comments below. And if you struggle with this particular tendency, drop some comments in below about that. And if you have any suggestions for a future episode, drop those in the comments. I'm Jeff, and I'll see you next week.